안녕하세요, 여러분. Today we are going to move on to the pins that all of you seem to ask me about. These are my broad stroke calligraphy pins, and they are made by Pilot, and they are called the Pilot Parallel Pen with the parallel plate nib. Now this is the box that my green one came in. They're color coded by size. This is the 3.8 nib. I don't really like to call it a nib because it doesn't have a point, and we'll look at that in a second. So it comes with some red ink, which I don't use a lot. It also comes with the pen, of course. It comes with this bladder, which is used to clean the pen out. So you just put some water in there and then squirt it inside the pen. And then it will also come with these ideas and like practice letters for you, and tells you how to use the pen and how not to use the pen. And then it's got some practice letters on the back. I don't use this chart. I use some charts online from some calligraphy artists who are really, really imaginative with their broad strokes, and I really like theirs better than the typical broad strokes. But I have practiced some that are more traditional. I am by no means, absolutely no means, am I good at this. I do enjoy using these pens. I do enjoy the way that even my modicum of expertise has created. However, I am no expert at all, period. Also, important fact, it comes with one of these. Now this is basically an empty film strip. It's made by the same material. It looks the same, almost like an undeveloped film strip. And the reason for this is to clean out between the plates, and I'll show you that too. This ring keeps turning around, it's driving me insane. Okay, so I have 3 of the 4 colors that are currently offered. The red one I don't have. It is the tiniest one. I just have no use for it. I don't write full letters in these pens, and the orange one is small enough for me to do envelope art. So I don't really want the red one. So anyway, we've got the orange one, which is 2.4 millimeters. The green one, which is the medium one, 3.8 millimeters. And finally the big boy, which is the blue, and it is 6 millimeters. I'll go ahead and touch on the ink. The ink is a very specific ink. It's called mixable color, and I'll show you why in a moment. But this is exclusively for parallel pens. You do not want to put this, even though it will fit in your Pilot fountain pens, please do not put this ink in your Pilot fountain pens. This ink is extremely thick, and it's made to flow extremely free so that it can glide through those plates and come out on the paper. So please do not use these in your normal fountain pens. You will not like the result, and you will ruin the nib of your pen. So you can buy a very large pack of these for about $10. They do come 12 to a box. As you can see, this has 2 boxes already in it, so that's 24. Nope, 12. I'm sorry, 12 in this pack. They usually come 12 to a box, but you can get these double packs that make it just 12 and 2. And I think I got like 3 of these packages for like 10 bucks. And then I also got a red package so that I could have some red ink. It does come, like I said, with a red ink cartridge, but I don't use it that much. So as you can tell, inside there's a little plunger, and when you put it inside the pen, it punctures that plunger, and then you're able to get the ink down through the plates and onto the paper. So let's take a look at the green one. The green one is my favorite one to use right now. Like I said, it is the medium size one, and so these twist apart. Okay, so they twist, and as you can tell, this end is really small, so this is not going to fit on there. I don't mind, because when you're doing broad stroke calligraphy, you really want to have control of your pen, and to put that lid on it might take away from your control of the pen, and that's not anywhere you want to be. Some people put those pencil grips on here so that they can kind of force the lid to be on there, but I don't do that. Okay, so let's take a look at the pen. Now, you see this plate, but if you can tell, I don't know if you can, yeah, there you go. It's actually 2 plates put together, and you can take them out to clean them. But what this thing that looks like a film is for is so that you can go between these plates. I say you can go between these plates. One moment, there you go. and you just go between the plates and kind of clean it out. It gets rid of any gunk that's in there or anything. And as you can see, there's a lot of ink on there. So we're just gonna show you there's ink on there. Cleans it out. There's this little window. You want to make sure that this window is on the top when you're writing. It's not on the other side. And this is just going to guarantee that your pen is in the proper position as you're using it. Okay, so you unscrew it from here and you get this ink barrel. Like I said, these ink barrels will fit in your fountain pen, but I beg of you not to do it. And it will tell you on there exclusively for the parallel pen. So this is my favorite one to write with, but in order to show you how they write, I think I'm going to use my blue one because it's bigger and it'll make more of a show. But I will show you the plates on this one are rather small. If you can imagine, I do need to clean my pens, but if you can imagine, the plates on the red one are even smaller. And I just don't need anything that small right now. These pens are about $19 a piece. You might be able to find them for like $14. So here is the big one. You can see the plates. They're put together back to back. They are separate plates. You can take them out and separate them and clean them. I haven't done that in a while. I need to. And then the ink will flow through them and out of between the plates. So I'm just going to give you just a little lesson. You don't really have to press hard with these. I find that I do. I will tell you that this ink will bleed through normal paper. That's why I've got 2 parts of paper. That's why there's all these ink bleeds on my desk, because I chose to have a white desk like an idiot. But it does not bleed through Tomoe River paper. So I am incredibly impressed by that. No matter how thin the paper is, it doesn't bleed. So let's just go ahead and write my name. And then you'll be able to see how it works. So really, you want to make sure that the entire nib is touching the paper. And it is extremely difficult to do upstrokes. It will stutter across the page. So generally, you just want to flow with the normal kind of broad stroke calligraphy art. Like I said, I'm not an expert at it, and I do not pretend to be. But I've learned a few things. And it just creates that really thick, smooth line. Honestly, writing with these pens is a tangible pleasure because it feels so smooth while you're writing with them. You can turn it up on its side for those thin strokes that you see in a lot of letters. Okay, and then you just go from there. You can make your own art. You can follow instructions. You can really do whatever you want with these as long as you treat them kindly. And remember that they are kind of delicate because of the system that they use. Of course, this bigger one is going to be less delicate than the smaller ones. That's why I don't mind showing off with this one. But it really makes learning this art a lot easier than trying to do it with a normal fountain pen, which a lot of people do, and I'm highly impressed, but I can't do it. So more power to them, but not this girl. Just gonna finish this out with a little medieval Y over here. And then sometimes I go in for the effect. And there you go. I'll get a little bit closer so you can see the ink is a very different kind of ink. And it is a very enjoyable pen to write with and to learn with. What I like most about these pens is they're not so expensive that if you break them, like my barrel on this one is cracked right there, it's no big deal. It still works. It still holds the cartridge. The pen ends don't come out. And you don't have to do as much maintenance on it as like a normal, like a dip pen. So if you had a barrel of ink and you're using a dip pen, which I'll show you those later, a dip pen is something that doesn't have a cartridge. It's basically just a nib. So you just dip it in the inkwell and then you write with it. Those require a lot of maintenance in order to operate properly. But these pens, they're pretty rough and tumble, man. You can use them a lot and The ink does go fast, I will warn that. So if you are buying one to practice with it, I would suggest buying probably an extra box of ink, or maybe two, and having those on hand, because you are going to go through a lot of practice. And what they say, practice makes perfect. But those are the Pilot Parallel pens. I hope you enjoyed the review and the explanation, and I hope that it answered all of your questions over what those flat pens were that I was using. Everyone, thank you so much. Have a wonderful night. Annyeong!